Hello students, welcome back. We are now in part B of your web technology lab cycle. So in this video we are going to solve the first three programs of your lab cycle part B. So let us start with the first one. So in the first one they have asked you to write a simple JavaScript program to validate your university register number. We have to solve it using pattern matching using regular expression. So let's start coding. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to name it as b1.html since it is part B. Let's begin the routine HTML tags, the head section, title. I'm going to give title as validate register number. Okay. Now we'll have the body section. So inside the body we need to have one form. Action is equal to hash because we are not sending the data to the server. So no need to specify the method. Also by default it is get method. So we are going to design a simple form. Input type is equal to text. We're going to give an ID for this, txt regno. Okay. So for this we're going to have one button. Input type is equal to, you can use either the submit button or the plain button. Value is equal to check. On click we need to call a function. I'm going to name the function as check. In this function we are going to write the code to validate the register number. Okay, so I'm going to have one small div over here. I'll tell you later why this div is required. I'm going to name this as message. Okay, so let's have one break and let's have one label for txt register number. Okay, enter register number. Okay, first let's see how this looks. Open with live server. Okay, this is pretty much okay. Now we'll write the code in the head section. So we need to use the script tag. Type is not required actually. Now we'll write the function check to validate the user input. So very first is we'll define the pattern. So your register number begins with capital B and C followed by some 6 digits, right? So totally there are 8 characters, of which 2 are characters and the rest 6 characters are numeric. Okay, so we declare the pattern, define it. Okay, so the first character is capital B, second character is capital C, then you have 6 digits, so I'm going to use D of 6. Okay, and then I'll use the anchors to be specific with respect to starts with and ends with. Alright, the pattern is now ready. Now we'll collect the input. Variable input is equal to document dot get element by id. So the id of the text box is txt reg no. Be cautious with respect to the case because it is case sensitive. So I want to extract the value property. Okay, now we have collected the input. I'm going to declare one more variable to store the result of the matching. So input dot, we will use the search method of the string object. Okay, so here we need to pass the parameter. So in this case, parameter is the pattern itself. So I've named it as pattern. So change it as ERN. Okay, so be careful, right? So now the search method will check whether the input contains this pattern. If it is contains, it is going to return the index of the first character, right? Matched character. In this case, the first matched character index would be 0. If I get a value 0, it means that the input is correct. Otherwise, input is wrong. So if result is greater than or equal to 0, I can just say equal to 0, but it's okay. Document dot, I'm going to display the results, get element by id. I told you, right, I'm creating a division element. Here I'm going to display the result. So id is message dot inner html is equal to uh, valid register number. Okay, you can play with the css also. Document dot get element by id message dot style dot color. I'm going to make it as red, sorry, blue. For valid register number, for invalid register number, I'm going to make it as red. So else what I'll do is I'm going to copy the same code. Here I have to just change it as invalid and red. Okay, I think we are good to go. We'll check the output. First, I'm going to enter some random text. Yes, invalid. Now I'm going to give the correct input BC181234 valid register number. Okay, suppose I have one more extra digit, it's going to give me a invalid result. Okay, so this is it. Hope you have understood the program. It's very easy. The entire logic is over here itself. So you need to define the correct pattern and then only you'll get the correct result. Rest and all is very easy. Okay, so we have completed the first program in part B. Let's see what's there in the second program. Alright, so in the second program they've asked you to implement a login page, so and display the authentication result, that is successful or unsuccessful login using alert. Okay, so again go back to the Explorer, create a new file v2.html. Okay, start your regular HTML code. I'm going to name this as login form. Okay, in the body section we'll have one form tag. Okay, action is null. Method is also not required because we are not actually spending any data to the server. So inside the form tag I'll have input type is equal to text. Okay, id I'm going to give it as txt username un, then I'll have a br. Now we'll have input type is equal to password. id I'm going to give it as txt pwd. All right, so break, then we'll have one button, plain button, on click, validate or check. Okay, I'm going to name the function as check. Okay, now we'll have add some label for this, label for the register number. Okay, so here, sorry, txt username, enter username. I'm going to copy this, label for txt pwd, enter password. Okay, so the form is designed properly. Let me see the output. Okay, so we need to give the value for the button. Value is equal to login. Okay, yes, you can have one h1 login form. Okay, now we'll write the code using the script tag to validate the username and password. So the name of the function is, I believe, check. Yes. Okay, very first is I need to collect the input, that is the txt username and txt password. Okay, so I'm going to declare a variable called un, and I'm going to access the value get element by id txt un dot value. Okay, similarly I'm going to declare one more variable as pwd. I'm going to collect document dot get element by id txt pwd dot value. Okay, so now the next step is just to check whether username and password is correct. Since we are not using any database, so we have to just match it with the predefined username and password. So assume that the predefined username and password is admin and 123. Okay, so if username equal to admin and password equal to 123, okay, I'm going to keep it as string itself, alert valid user. Okay, otherwise else alert invalid user. Okay, I think the function is perfect. Now we'll check whether it works as expected. So I'm going to give username as admin and password as 123. So I got the output valid user, seems to be okay until now. I'm going to change the password as 1234. I got the output invalid user. Okay, so I'm going to change the username also. Yes, it's working fine. Okay, so hope you have understood the simple program to validate the username as well as password. Now we'll go to the next program. So program number 3, they've asked you to develop and demonstrate a HTML page containing JavaScript functions to change the font style of a paragraph on mouse over and on mouse out events. So this is very much easy. We can finish off very quickly. So b3.html. So I'm sure that you are enjoying this session because it's fun to work with web application. Title, I'm going to give the title as dynamic para. Okay, then body section, so we'll have one paragraph. So that's what they've asked. So I need some content for the paragraph. I'll go back to our college website, click on the courses. I'll copy the course information of BCA. I'm going to paste it here. Okay, since I need to work with on mouse over and on mouse out events, I need to first give an ID for this paragraph. I'll give the ID as P1. Now on mouse over we'll call one function, and on mouse out we are going to call one more function. So on mouse over, okay, change it to blue. We are going to change the color as blue. On mouse out we're going to change it to red and do some other changes. Okay, so two functions has been defined. Now let's start writing the script. Two functions has to be defined here. Change blue. Okay, similarly function change red. Okay, here we need to change the style of the paragraph. So what we'll do is I'm going to declare one variable and I'm going to call this variable as DOM. First let me access the paragraph. Document dot get element by ID. So ID of this paragraph is P1. So once I access this particular element, now I'm going to change the style. DOM dot style dot color is equal to, so this should be blue. Okay, now I'm going to copy the same code and paste it. Only change I'm going to do here is make it red. Okay, I think until here everything seems to be okay with respect to the code. Let's see whether it works fine. Open with live server. Yes, on mouse over it is changing to blue. On mouse out it is changing to red. We'll apply some more style. Dom dot style dot font family 1. I'm going to give it as Garamond font. Dom dot style dot text decoration is equal to underline, just to show you how we work with this kind of dynamic styling. Here I'm going to make it as Vartana. Okay, Here I'll change it as overline, overline. So dom dot style dot font size also I'm going to increase. I'm going to change the font size as larger. Okay, see, okay, so we are done with all the three programs of part B of your lab cycle. I hope you have followed it. Okay, then we're gonna meet in the next video. Thank you.